Welcome back to our channel Historic Coin Treasures, where we uncover hidden coin rare discoveries and the real stories behind historic currency. If you love history, treasure, and the possibility of life-changing finds, subscribe now and let's discover the next hidden fortune together. Top 1. Today we are diving into one of the most mysterious and talked about modern pennies in United States history, the 1992 D Lincoln 1-cent coin. This is not just another copper coin hiding in your pocket change. This is a coin that has shocked collectors, surprised families cleaning out old jars, and created headlines in the rare coin market. So sit back, relax, and listen very carefully, because this small penny could be worth a life-changing amount of money. The United States 1-cent coin featuring Abraham Lincoln has been around since 1909. For decades it has carried the same familiar design. On the front we see the portrait of Abraham Lincoln. On the back of coins from 1959 to 2008, we see the Lincoln Memorial. But in 1992, something incredibly small changed. And that tiny difference created one of the most valuable modern pennies ever discovered. In 1992, the United States Mint produced Lincoln cents at several facilities, including the Denver Mint, which placed a small D mint mark under the date. Most 1992 D pennies look completely normal, but a very small number were struck using a reverse design that was not supposed to be used that year. The key to this coin's rarity is something collectors call the close AM variety. Let me explain in simple words. On the back of the Lincoln Memorial penny at the bottom you will see the words United States of America. On normal 1992 pennies, there is a visible space between the letters A and M in the word America. That space is clearly noticeable if you look closely. However, on the rare 1992 D close AM penny, the A and M are almost touching. There is barely any gap between them. They appear nearly connected. That tiny detail is what separates an ordinary 1-cent coin worth face value from a coin worth thousands of dollars. Why did this happen? In 1993, the Mint officially changed the reverse design to the close AM style. But in 1992, a few coins were accidentally struck using the 1993 reverse die. This minting mistake created the rare close AM variety for 1992. And here is where it gets exciting. Very few examples of the 1992 D close AM penny have ever been discovered. Some experts believe only a handful exist. This extreme rarity is what drives collectors crazy. Modern coins are usually produced in the millions or even billions. But when a rare transitional error like this appears, it becomes a treasure hunt. Imagine searching through jars of pennies, old bank rolls, estate collections, and pocket change, hoping to spot those two letters almost touching. Now let's talk about authentication. Because this coin is so valuable, many people try to alter normal coins to make them look like the close AM variety. Some attempt to squeeze the letters, damage the surface, or manipulate images online. That is why serious collectors always recommend having a suspected 1992 D close AM penny examined and graded by professional coin grading companies. Condition also plays a huge role in value. A circulated example that shows where will still be extremely valuable because of its rarity. But an uncirculated coin with sharp details, bright luster, and no major marks can be worth significantly more. Another important detail to check is the FG initials. On genuine close AM examples, the designer's initials FG, located near the Lincoln Memorial, are positioned differently compared to normal coins. On authentic pieces, the FG appears closer to the building. This is another clue experts use to confirm the variety. Collectors love coins like this because they represent something special in mint history. This is not just an error coin. It is what we call a transitional variety. It shows a change between two design types. These types of coins connect one year to another, almost like a missing link in evolution. And here is something even more interesting. For many years after 1992, people had no idea this rare variety existed. It was not discovered immediately. It took sharp-eyed collectors studying small design details to finally identify the difference. Once the discovery spread through the coin collecting community, excitement exploded. People began searching everywhere. Coin dealers started checking inventory. Families opened piggy banks. Roll hunters searched thousands of pennies hoping to find that close AM treasure. Stories began appearing of lucky finds. One of the most famous examples was discovered by a collector who carefully examined thousands of coins. That single penny changed everything. Now let's talk about the real reason everyone is watching this video. Money. The real market price for a genuine 1992 D-Close AM Lincoln cent in circulated condition has sold for around $20,000 depending on grade, and I appealed in higher mint state condition. Auction results have reached over $30,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. A 1-cent coin worth tens of thousands of dollars. And that value is driven by true rarity, collector demand, and confirmed auction sales. But remember, not every 1992 D penny is valuable. The vast majority are common and worth only 1 cent. The difference comes down to those tiny letters AM. So here is what you should do. Take a magnifying glass. Look at every 1992 D penny you have. Check the spacing between the A and M in America. If they are clearly separated, it is normal. If they are nearly touching, do not spend it. Do not clean it. Do not scratch it. Protect it carefully and consider professional authentication. Coin collecting is not just about money. It is about discovery, history, and patience. The 1992 D-Close AM penny reminds us that even in modern times, rare treasures can still be hiding in plain sight. This coin teaches us to slow down and look closely, because sometimes the smallest details create the biggest value. Imagine holding a penny that most people would ignore, yet collectors would compete fiercely to own. That is the magic of rare coins. So coin lovers, collectors, and treasure hunters, keep searching, keep learning, and always pay attention to the smallest details, because your next great discovery might already be sitting in your pocket. And who knows, that simple 1992 D Lincoln 1 cent could be worth more than you ever imagined. Subscribe now and let's discover the next hidden fortune together. Top 2. Today we are going deep into one of the most searched and talked about modern pennies in the United States of America, the rare and valuable 1989 D Lincoln 1 cent. If you love coins, if you search your pocket change, or if you dream that one small copper coin could change your life, then stay with me until the very end, because what I am about to share might surprise you. Point 4. The 1989 D Lincoln cent was struck at the famous United States Mint in Denver. That small letter D under the date tells us it was minted in Denver, Colorado. In 1989, millions and millions of these coins were produced. In fact, the mintage was extremely high, meaning most 1989 D pennies you find are very common and worth only face value. But here is where things get interesting. Even though the regular coin is common, certain rare errors and high-grade examples have turned this simple 1-cent coin into something collectors are willing to pay serious money for. And that is why coin roll hunters and collectors carefully inspect every single 1989 D penny they find out. Let's first understand the design. On the front of the coin, we see Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. This iconic portrait has been used on Lincoln cents since 1909. The words "In God We Trust" appear above Lincoln's head. Liberty is on the left side. The date 1989 and the D mint mark appear on the right. The reverse of the coin in 1989 still featured the classic Lincoln Memorial design, used from 1959 to 2008. If you look very closely, you can even see a tiny statue of Lincoln inside the memorial building. Now here is the truth most people do not realize. The real money is not in ordinary circulated coins. The real value is in condition and in errors. Let's talk about condition first. Most 1989 D pennies were used in daily commerce. They were scratched, worn, dropped, and damaged. These coins are extremely common and usually worth just 1 cent. But if a 1989 D penny was saved right after minting and kept in perfect condition, the value increases dramatically. Collectors use grading terms like mint state to describe coins that have never been circulated. A coin graded MS65 or higher can already be more desirable. But when you reach extremely high grades like MS67 or MS68, now you are in rare territory. Very few coins survive in that level of perfection because even tiny marks reduce the grade. And this is where auction records start to shock people. Now let's talk about the errors. Errors are what truly excite collectors. Point 1. Of the most popular errors on Lincoln cents is a double die. A double die happens when the design is accidentally doubled during the die creation process. This can cause noticeable doubling in letters or numbers. If a 1989 D penny shows strong doubling on the date or lettering, collectors immediately pay attention. Another error to watch for is a repunched mint mark. In earlier years, mint marks were punched by hand. Although by 1989 mint marks were generally part of the die, minor varieties and placement differences can still attract collectors. Off-center strikes are also highly collectible. If the coin was not properly aligned when struck, part of the design may be missing. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the more valuable the coin can be, especially if the date is still visible. There are also broad strike errors where the coin was struck without the collar, making it appear wider than normal. And then there are clipped planchets, where a portion of the metal blank was missing before striking, leaving a curved clip shape. But here is something very important. Not every strange-looking coin is valuable. Damage after leaving the mint does not count as an error. Scratches, dents, and corrosion do not increase value. True mint errors happen during production at the mint facility. Now let's focus on what makes the 1989D especially interesting for high-grade collectors. Because so many were produced, most were not handled carefully. Finding one with blazing red original mint luster, no spots, no carbon marks, and sharp details is surprisingly difficult. Copper-plated zinc cents from the 1980s are known for developing spots and discoloration over time. That means a perfectly preserved red example is much scarcer than people think. Professional grading companies have recorded only a limited number of top population examples at the very highest grades. When two collectors compete for the finest known example, prices can climb far above what most people expect for a modern penny. Imagine searching through a box of pennies and finding one nearly flawless coin shining like it just left the mint. That is the dream of every coin roll hunter. And here's what makes coin collecting so exciting. The coin itself may look ordinary to the untrained eye. But under magnification with proper lighting, tiny details tell the real story. If you want to search for a valuable 1989D penny, here is what you should do. Use a magnifying glass of at least 10 times magnification. Check the date and mint mark carefully. Look for doubling in the numbers and letters. Examine the surfaces for unusual striking errors. Tilt the coin under light to see if the luster flows smoothly across the surface. Check for any unusual thickness, shape, or striking abnormalities. Also pay attention to color designation. Collectors classify copper coins as red, red-brown, or brown. Full red examples bring the highest premiums because they show original mint color. Now let us talk about the part everyone waits for: value. Remember, most 1989D Lincoln cents in circulated condition are worth only 1 cent in uncirculated mint state grades around MS63 to MS65. Typical market value is usually between a few dollars and around $10 depending on appeal to in very high grades like MS67. Auction results have reached several $100s when certified by a major grading service. And in extremely rare top population grades such as MS68 red, auction prices have climbed to around $1,000 or slightly more when strong collector demand was present. Major dramatic mint errors such as strong off-center strikes or major double dies can sell anywhere from $50 to several $100s depending on visibility and condition. So yes, while most are common, the right coin in the right condition has sold for hundreds and even over $1,000 at auction. That is why collectors always say never ignore your pennies. The 1989D Lincoln cent may look ordinary. It may feel small and insignificant, but hidden among billions of coins, a tiny number stand out as treasures. And those treasures are discovered by people who look carefully, learn patiently, and never underestimate small change. Top 3. Today we are diving into a coin that almost everyone has seen, almost everyone has spent, but very few people truly understand. I'm talking about the United States Lincoln 1 cent dated 2015. Yes, a modern penny. A coin many people overlook. But what if I told you that some 2015 Lincoln cents are worth far more than just 1 cent? What if I told you that hidden among everyday pocket change are rare errors and exceptional examples that collectors are hunting right now? Stay with me because this story is more exciting than you think. The 2015 Lincoln cent was struck by the United States Mint in massive numbers. These coins were produced at the Philadelphia Mint without a mint mark and at the Denver Mint with the D mint mark. First glance, there is nothing special. The obverse still features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, originally designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909. On the reverse, since 2010, we see the Union Shield design, symbolizing Lincoln's preservation of the United States as one unified country. But here's the secret collectors know. Even modern coins can become rare and valuable under the right circumstances. And the 2015 Lincoln cent is proof. Let's talk about condition first. Most 2015 pennies you find in circulation are worth exactly 1 cent. They've been handled, scratched, tossed into jars, and dropped on sidewalks. But when we move into high mint state grades, everything changes. Coins graded mint state 67, 68, or even higher by professional grading services become extremely scarce. Why? Because producing millions of coins doesn't mean producing millions of perfect coins. Tiny marks from minting machines, contact marks during bagging, or slight imperfections can prevent a coin from achieving a top grade. So when a 2015 Lincoln cent survives in near flawless condition, collectors compete fiercely for it. Now let's talk about something even more exciting: errors. Mint errors are the heartbeat of modern coin collecting. They are mistakes made during the minting process. And mistakes create rarity. Some 2015 Lincoln cents have been discovered with double die errors. This happens when the die used to strike the coin receives a misaligned impression during manufacturing. The result is visible doubling in the lettering or design elements. Collectors look closely at the words "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date. Strong, clear doubling can dramatically increase value. Then there are off-center strikes. Imagine a blank coin planchet entering the press slightly misaligned. The result is a design that is not centered, leaving a blank crescent on one side. The more dramatic the off-center strike while still showing the full date, the more desirable it becomes. Another fascinating error is the clipped planchet. This occurs when the metal strip used to create blanks overlaps incorrectly during punching, causing a curved clip missing from the coin's edge. It looks unusual, almost damaged, but it is actually a genuine mint error. We also have die cracks and cuts. Over time, coin dies wear out. Cracks can form, and when pieces of the die break away, raised blobs of metal appear on the coin. These features are highly collectible, especially when they are bold and easy to see. Now let's focus specifically on the 2015 Lincoln cent. The Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of them. But in top condition, especially graded Mint State 68 red, they are incredibly difficult to find. The red designation means the coin retains its full original copper color, without turning brown. Copper-plated zinc cents are extremely sensitive. Even slight oxidation can change their appearance. Collectors pay strong premiums for bright, fully red examples with sharp strike and no distracting marks. And when such coins appear at auction, bidding can surprise many people. Another variety that collectors search for is die rotation errors. Normally, when you flip a United States coin vertically, the reverse should be perfectly upright. But occasionally, a coin is struck with rotated dies. If the reverse appears tilted significantly when flipped, that coin becomes a collectible error. The beauty of modern coin collecting is accessibility. Anyone can search their pocket change. Anyone can examine a jar of pennies sitting at home. And sometimes, extraordinary finds happen in the most ordinary places. Let's also talk about proof coins. In 2015, the United States Mint produced proof Lincoln cents for collectors in special sets. These coins have mirror-like fields and frosted designs. Proof coins are struck multiple times for sharp detail. If a proof coin develops a deep cameo contrast and remains flawless, it becomes more desirable. And if a proof coin contains an error, which is rare but possible, its value increases dramatically. There is something magical about holding a coin and realizing it tells a story of production, a story of error, a story of survival in pristine condition. The 2015 Lincoln cent may be modern, but it carries the same excitement that older rare coins bring to collectors. Now imagine finding one in your change that looks different. The lettering seems doubled. The strike is slightly off-center. The surface is blazing red and nearly perfect. That simple penny suddenly transforms from spare change into a collectible treasure. But remember, condition is everything. Professional grading by companies such as PCGS or NGC can authenticate and assign a grade that determines market value. Without proper grading, it can be difficult to achieve maximum value when selling. So what are the real numbers? Most circulated 2015 Lincoln cents are worth 1 cent. Uncirculated examples in Mint State 65 to 66 condition typically sell for a few dollars depending on eye appeal. High-grade Mint State 67 examples can sell for around $20 to $40 depending on market demand. Extremely rare Mint State 68 red examples of the 2015 Lincoln cent have realized auction prices reaching approximately $1,000 to $1,500 when certified at the highest levels. Major off-center errors with full date visible can sell for $100 to $500 depending on the percentage off strike. Strong double die examples have sold in the range of $50 to several $100s depending on the strength of doubling and overall condition. Proof deep cameo coins in perfect proof 70 condition generally trade for around $30 to $100 depending on certification and demand data. So next time you see a 2015 Lincoln penny, do not ignore it. Look carefully. Examine the date. Check the mint mark. Inspect the lettering. Rotate the coin. Study the color. Because hidden in plain sight could be a coin worth far more than 1 cent. Coin collecting is not just about old silver and gold. It is about knowledge. It is about patience. And sometimes it is about spotting a modern rarity that everyone else overlooks. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 2015 Lincoln cent, stay tuned for more discoveries. Because in the world of coins, even the smallest denomination can hold the biggest surprises.